Hi, my name is Rakesh Singh and I welcome you on this jQuery video session. Thank you so much for joining Naresh IT Technologies video session. In this today video session, we are going to discuss about how to work with drop-down list using jQuery functionality. So I hope you have an idea. Whenever you are going to work with a drop-down list, you must work with one HTML element called select tag. So using HTML element called select tag, we used to create a drop down list, and on that we are going to perform number of operations. So how we will work with the drop down list using jQuery functionality, that is what we are going to discuss in this current video session. So in this video session, we will discuss about some of the option of selectors to select the element and perform the some operation. Like first one, select all options of a drop down list. So drop down list, how to be created? If you want to create a drop down list, then how you will create? By using HTML element called select tag, and in the select tag will keep what is that number of options to create a drop down list with a list of options. So how to select all options of a particular one drop down list? So here what I am writing, $#DDL1 means the select tag has an ID with a name called DDL1, means to select one select tag with what ID? DDL1, and in that whatever options are present, those all options we wanted to get that. So we will write $#DDL1 space option, means it is going to select all option of a drop down list that has an ID of what is that? DDL1. So easily we are going to get select. So whenever we need to perform any operation on the all the options of a particular drop down list which has an ID of DDL1, then we use this selector expression. Second one, selects a selected option of a drop down list, means don't select entire option of a drop down list. Only we need to filter to fetch that option which is already selected, and we know very well in a drop down list which we are creating using select tag, user cannot select multiple option, only one option can be selected. So which option selected, that option we want to fetch. Then what we write, $#DDL1 space option, means all the options, and in those option only that option which is selected, colon what is it? Selected. Like earlier we have discussed in checkbox, in radio button, to get the which option is checked by using colon checked. In a similar fashion, here we use what? Colon selected. So what it does, it selects a selected option of a drop down list that has an ID of DDL1. So let us see this one implementation practically in our development environment, which I am going to do by using Visual Studio. You can work with any other development environment. So here I came to Visual Studio development environment, where I am having already one HTML page with me, HTML page.html. In this you observe here I have select option, I have select tag with ID what is it? DDL1, and this having number of what is it? Options. So each option I have given some value, short name OPT1, and their text is nothing but option 1. So here text how to define, which is going to be visible to the user between opening option tag and what is it? Closing option tag. Similar to that I have given number of option. Any option is selected by us? No. So it is a rule of the drop down list, by default automatically first option will be selected. So whenever you run this page, I want this page is loaded into the what? Browser window, you can observe that first option will be selected in the drop down list. So what my requirement is, at runtime I want to find out how many options are available in this select tag that has an ID of what is it? DDL1, and this is going to represent as what? Drop down list. So you can see that without writing any code, I just run this by view in a browser, So once the page is loaded into the browser environment, you can notice that it is going to appear this select tag in the form of drop down list, and in the drop down list by default first option will be selected. So you can observe that select option and see that this is a drop down list, right. If you click on this button, it is going to open the down list of options, all open, and by default first option is what selected if I am not given which option to be selected. Now user has choice to choose any of this option. So it is used for what purpose? Single selection purpose. So how many options are there? 5 options. What my requirement is, at runtime as soon as this page is loaded into the browser window, find out all the options and count how many options are present and display into the alert box. So how to identify? By using our code with the help of jQuery functionality, what are the options are available and how many options are available in this drop down list, which we have created using the HTML element called select tag. So what we'll do that, come to Visual Studio environment. Now here, right, going to what document.ready. In this simple code, I just wanted to get the what number of options. So alert of what is it, number of options, right, in a drop down list plus dollar of what is it, hash DDL1, means you need to find out all the options which are inside one element that has an ID of DDL1. So hash DDL1 space what is it, option. So by using this, getting what all options which are available in the one element with an ID of what is it, DDL1. And I just want to perform simple operation to count how many options are there. So dot what is the property, length, and it's going to be semicolon, save. Now comes to the browser, and in the browser window refresh this page. Once you refresh the page, as soon as document gets ready with HTML page, then you can observe that number of options how many, 5. So in this drop down list, how many options we have provided? 5 options that we are able to know at what time, runtime. So click on OK, and you can observe that how many options are there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options. So how we are going to come to know how many options are present in a drop down list using our jQuery code? That is an important point to understand here. Now we wanted to get how many option is selected. We know that there is only one option will be selected, but I just wanted to get that option, which option is selected. So this is going to return what is it, all the options which are available in drop down list as a one jQuery object, and whatever selector return jQuery object, that is always represented to a collection, and in the collection it could be a 0 elements, it could be a 1 element, it could be what, multiple elements. But in this situation it returns what, multiple elements. On the multiple elements there is no operation getting performed, simply we are counting how many multiple options are there by using what, length property. In a similar fashion, I want to only fetch in my collection object only that option which option is selected and count how many are there. So what do you write that, DDL1 space option colon what is it, selected. So this expression is going to find out only one option which is selected, because we know that in drop down list there is no chance for having multiple selection. So number of what is it, selected option, right, selected option dot length. I am not getting their value, not getting their text, I am just counting how many option is selected, and that is a 1. Now you observe here, before I run this page, in this select tag, any option explicitly whether we have given to be selected? No. So by default first option to be selected, right. So it is going to display at runtime, right, in the alert box number of selected option what is it, only 1. Save it, comes to the browser and refresh the page, you can observe number of selected option what is it, 1. So it is finding only that option which is selected and counting how many are there, that is only 1. You can observe that right now how many options selected, 1. Even if you click on that, the first option looking at selected. Suppose manually if user has given from in the markup only, option 3 must be selected by default. So option 3, what is it? Selected equals to, what is it? Selected. So selected property equals to selected value, we have been set in the markup itself. So now whenever you come to the browser and refresh the page, as a document ready, you can observe number of select option is still, what is it? 1, because in drop down list there is no possibility of selecting, what is it? Multiple option, only it can select what? Single option. Click on OK and see which option selected right now by default, option 3. Even if you click on that, option 3 is what? Selected. So this option is getting fetched. On this option, I am not doing any operation. I am not fetching their text. I am not fetching their value. I am just trying to count it, how many option is selected, and that is only 1. That's what in alert box coming. Number of selected option is what? 1. Right. Now, what my requirement is, next thing to discuss. Returns the value of selected option in a drop down list. So now some operation I am going to perform. What? Which option is selected? For that selected option, what it contains value that we wanted to fetch. So what we'll write? $#DDL1 space, what is that? Option. So from here to till here, what is that? From here till here, what is that? It looks for all the option inside what? This element. But because of this expression colon selected, only that option which is the what? Selected. So in drop down list, how many options selected? Only 1. So it's going to look for what? One selected option. And further selected option, what value contain I want to fetch. Then we have what method? Val method, which is going to returns the value of selected option in a drop down list. Or we can also write in a more simpler way directly $#DDL1.val. This is very simple than this. This is always looks for value, and the value will come only for that option which is selected. So either write, this is more clearer to understand. Oh, looking for all option, fine. In all option looking for what? Selected option, right? And for the selected option getting the what? Value by using val method. Here is easy, understanding is difficult because people may get confused. This val method to get the value for which option, because your option not mentioned. This implicitly works with the only selected option. So this is very good in order to understand. This is somewhat difficult to understand because it's creating confusion. This is going to get the value for which option because no option mentioned. As I said you, this is going to work implicitly to get the only selected option. So anyone, you please use that. So I am coming to development environment, right? What my requirement is, on the document ready only, which option by default selected. If I have given here selected equals selected, so option 3 selected. If I don't give anyone here, I remove that. So by default which option selected? Option 1 selected. Suppose is given that, no problem. For this option, what value contents I want to fetch. So value means this one, and text means what? This one. Point to be noted. I want to get the value. So whenever document gets ready, in alert box please display. So what I am displaying here, selected option, what is it? Value is, right, $#DDL1 space option colon selected dot, what is the method? Val method. So now this selector expression going to select the one option which is selected already and getting their value by using what? Val method, and going to concatenate with this text and displaying into our JavaScript alert box when as soon as document gets ready. So now save that and comes to the browser, refresh once the page, and you can observe that selected option value is, what is that? OPT3. You can observe that which option right now selected? Option 3. And for this option 3 internally what value is contains? Nothing but OPT3. That's what is coming. Somebody say, I don't want a value sir, I want the text. What text displaying? Option 3. So please display in alert box which option selected? Their text. So what you do that? Simply come over here, same thing, selected option is dollar of hash ddl1 space option colon selected dot, not val method. In jQuery we have method what? Text method. To get the text of selected option we use what method? Text method, rather than using what method? Val method. Now save it, comes to the browser, refresh the page, right. You can observe that now selected option is what is it? Option 3. So which option selected? We are getting their text, the name is what? Option 3, right. Click on the OK and see that is available, that fine. Same thing people may ask in different way, sir, don't display the which option selected as soon as document gets ready. No, provide an option to select, provide a button submit. If I click on submit, then display which option selected, means same code required but action change, what is it? On button submit click. So here what I am going to do, that I am keeping, I remove the default selection, fine, and here I just use what is it? Line break, input type equals to what is it? Button I am using, not using submit, because I don't want right now to make my form to be submit to server. So in that case I am just using what is it? Button, and id equals to I am giving btn submit, no problem, and value I am displaying what is it? Submit, going to be closed. What the requirement is, this thing required to keep where? Not inside a select option, out of the select option, yes, here. Now what the requirement is, if user click on this button submit, right, then among this option which options is selected, get there what is the text and get there what is that? Value, both, or only text, only value, that's your choice. To display where? Into the alert box, right. So simply I am coming here, as soon as document gets ready, we will write what? Dollar of what is it? Hash btn submit dot, what is that? Click of what is that? Function body open close, fine, and in this just simply this code will keep it here, means as a document ready, nothing going to display. Once you click on the submit, is going to identify which option selected and what is their text, and concatenate to this text and display into what is the alert box. Save it, come back to the browser window, refresh the page, nothing display. Now which option by default selected? Option 1, fine. Click on what? Submit. So observe, selected option is what? Option 1. Selected option is what? Option 1. Okay. Now if I select option 4 and I click on submit, so now which option selected by the user? Option 4, and after that user click on submit, then display selected option is option 4. Click on that, you can observe that selected option is option 4. Here what I can do, that I want to change some other requirement. People say in this select tag number of options are 5. By default first option looking as a selected option 1. People say don't display first option to be selected as a option 1. Use one more option, the name is option value equals to empty I am giving, and the text must be what? Select. So by default which option comes as a selected? Select, means it gives a meaning to the user, you have to select any option. If you click on the showing list of option, please select. So this text by default to be available as a selected, and after the user click on the button submit, if suppose any of the option is not selected among these 5 option, only what selected? Selector, means user has to select any option, but user has not selected any option. So by default this is the first selected. In that case, show the error message in alert box, please select any option, and if any option selected among this option 1 to option 5, then display selected option is this one. Either display their text, either display their value, that is your choice, or display both, no problem. So what will do? The some modification in the code. So once the button submit click, don't display alert. What you do, right? Remove this code. First of all, get the selected option as a jQuery object, right. So where OPT equals to dollar of hash DDL1 space option colon selected, fine. So in this OPT, this jQuery selector expressor returns a jQuery object which represent to collection of items, in that either 0 items, either 1 items, either multiple items. In this case, from here to here is looking for all option, but among the all option only going to filter what? Selected option. And we know this example for drop down list in which option can be selected any one. So which option selected, that coming to which object? OPT object. Now you will write the condition if OPT, right, dot val method is not equals to empty. You observe, if this option selected by default, what is their value? Empty. Among this any of the selected, what is their value? Not empty, some value is there, right. So I am checking if not equal to empty means some value is there, it means the option is selected by the user. Then simply in alert display what? Selected option is, right, plus concatenate OPT dot, you want to get their value? Val method. You want to get their text? OPT dot what is it? Text. Plus I want to concatenate with the slash value also, OPT dot what is it? Val method. Understood? So if val method returns a value is not equal to empty means some option user has selected among the 1 to 5, their text get and their what is it? Value get. Display and alert. Otherwise go to what part? Else part. I am going to display in alert box. Alert what? A message to user, please select any option, like this message to be appear. This might be requirement comes while working with this drop down list example. Save it, come to the browser window, refresh the HTML page, fine. By default what is they asking? Select. It means I have to select any option, but I forgot to select option, or intentionally I am not selecting the option. Click on submit. You can observe the message what coming to you, please select any option, means option must be selected, then only further any process to be executed. Click on OK, and if you click here, number of options showing. In this, if you choose option 3, fine. Now click on submit. Already option selected. Click on submit. Selected option is option 3 oblique their value what is it? OPT3. So I am fetching text also and I am fetching what? Value also. You may require to work with the only text or only what is it? Value. So like this we are able to identify only selected option among the all options of select element tag which represent to a drop down list, and they are fetching the value and they are fetching the what is it? Text. Whenever you want to get value, you can write this also, $#DDL1 dot value method, then also we can get the value. Makes any particular option to be what? Selected. I want programmatically any particular option by default to be selected at runtime, which match with the what? Their specific value. So what we write that? $#DDL1 dot val method and passing the value. If this value matched with any of the option value, that option is going to be selected. So it makes any particular option to be selected that matches with the specified value. So how will do that? I remove these all, do not required, right. I remove this button submit, or you keep, no problem, let it be as it is. By default among these all, option 5 to be selected at runtime. So we have two options. We can provide in markup only what? Selected equals to selected. So by default option 5 is going to be selected. I said no. So how we'll do that? We'll simply come document ready, $#DDL1, right, dot what is it? Val method. Val method of what is it? Value. What I'm giving? OPT5. So val method is used to retrieve the value of selected option. That is a one case. In the value method, if pass any value, so if this value is matched in this drop down list 1 with any of the option value, that option gets what is it? Selected. It is a rule. So now save it. As soon as this page is loaded into the browser window, in this drop down list 1 is going to match with the what OPT5 value. If the value match with any of the drop down list option, that option gets what is it? Selected. So now come to the browser window and please refresh. Once I refresh, as soon as the page ready into document into browser window, you can observe that here what comes option 5 to be selected. You can see that option 5 is selected because option 5 using one value with what OPT5, and what I am passing in the parameter OPT5, it is matched. So for that purpose we use this one. Right. Now we have few more example. Selects all options that are not selected. So we know that in drop down list by default anyone will be selected, but suppose I got requirement to counter those all options which are not selected. So except of selected option, remaining all options comes under what? Not selected. Get those option, and on those option you want to perform any operation, you can perform. In my example, simply I am going to count how many options are there which are not selected except of selected option. Then what we do that $hash DDL1 space option means all option in this drop down list 1, right? But what I am using here, not method, dot not, which are not selected. So means among these all options going to filter only those options which are not selected. So we can say it select all options that are not selected in a drop down list. So let's come to the develop environment. Fine. I just wanted to make in document ready only. Anyone selected manually? No. So by default which will be selected? Select option, first option. Remaining the all 5s are what is it? Not selected, and not possible also because we are working the drop down list, and in drop down list only single selection. So total how many options are there in our example? 6 option. 5 this option, 1 is a select, and by default which option gets selected? Select. So apart from select option, right, remaining how many options are there which are not selected, we wanted to know and we wanted to count it and display it alert box. So here simply write what? Alert of number of not selected option is plus dollar of hash DDL1, right, space option, it means all the options in the DDL1, dot not method of select expression what? Selected, means it looks for only those options which are not selected, which returns as a jQuery object, returns as what? jQuery object, and jQuery object represents a collection of items. So count it in the collection how many items are there by using what? Length property. That's it. So before I run this page, how many options are there? 6 options. One is what? This option, remaining all 5 options, 6. In this, which one by default will be selected? Whether we have given manually selected equal to selected to anyone? No. So by default, as per nature of drop down list, first option to be selected, this one, right? Remaining all options are what? Not selected. So remaining option how much left? 5 option. So what I am doing that I am trying to find out only those options which are not selected and counting how many options are there which are not selected by using what? Length property. Save it. Comes to the browser window. Refresh your HTML page. You can observe that number of not selected option is how many? 5. Total how many options are there? 6, but by default first option is what? Selected, and remaining options are till now not selected. Among that anyone can be selected. So we are trying to find out only those options which are not selected. Now the last one, selects an option that match with the what? Their value. Means select particular one option at runtime which match with their value. Dollar of hash of DDL1, right? space option means it is going to select all option inside one element that has an ID of DDL1, and among these all option only one option to be selected which match with the what value attribute equals to some value. So it selects an option that has a value of OPT1 in a drop down list. So this how to implement. Observe what my requirement is. I want option 3 by default to be selected which match with their value. So we have two options, already one option we have done it. Which option? Like this, dollar of, very simple, dollar of hash DDL1 dot val method of, just pass the value OPT3, right. So whichever option is available with OPT3, that option going to define with this OPT3, and if it is matched, that option going to be selected. This is the one already we have discussed. Come here, refresh the page, by default option 3 will be selected, option 3 selected. One more thing is there, how we'll remove this, we'll write dollar of hash DDL1 space option attribute, which one? Value attribute, this value attribute. If this value attribute equals to their value match with what? OPT3, right, OPT3. If match, this must be what? Selected. So what I am doing here, observe, DDL1 space option value equals to OPT1. So it is going to what? Selects an option that has a value of OPT1 in a drop down list. Fine, semicolon, save it. Now comes to the browser, refresh the page, right. You observe what is coming, select coming. This option is not going to make option to be selected into the page. This expression is going to return one option which has a value of what is that? OPT3. Earlier what I have used, dollar of hash DDL1 dot val of OPT3. This is not going to return a option as a jQuery object. This is going to set OPT3 value to one option, and if that option has value OPT3, if it is matched, the option is coming with selected option into the page. What I am trying to say that with the last example, try to fetch one option as an object which match with the what? Value OPT3. Means I want to filter, I want to retrieve one option object which has value about OPT3. So for that purpose, right, what we have been used, this one. So this is not going to select any option, this is going to retrieve one option which have the value attribute with what value? OPT3. So how to know whether working or not working? Let's count. If this is going to return one option object with the value OPT3, it means returns for one element. So simply I say, right, alert. In this I am going to write what is it? No text dot what is it? Length. Fine. Means I am finding the one option which have the value attribute with what value? OPT3. So do you have any option with OPT3 value? Yes, only one. So it's going to return how many length items? 1. Save it. Now run this page, refresh the page. You can see how much coming? 1 is coming. Means there is a one option found into the what? Drop down list all option which contain a value with what? OPT3. So we have seen how to fetch all option, we have seen how to fetch a selected option. Now this example, the last example, is going to tell us fetch one option which has the value attribute match with this specified value, and on that you want to perform any operation, you may perform that. But right now what I have performed, just simply I am getting the what? Number of items is present or not present. So this is all about what is it? working with drop down list using jQuery functionality. So please practice more with this all example what I have discussed in this video session. Thank you for watching the jQuery video session. Keep watching, subscribe for more videos.